Hi, this is Alcan, and welcome back to my channel. Well, looks like once again, Kathy Hochul and the MTA chairman dash CEO are about to F around and find out with the Trump administration because once again, they're putting more screws on both the governor and the agency. Appears now that they want data from New York City Transit about subway crime. Oh, you remember the thing that Kathy Hochul and the combined MTA chairman and CEO saying, there's no crime problem, it doesn't exist, it's all in your mind. Uh, the lady getting burned by an illegal immigrant. I'm not worried about that. I'm doing my selfie and shopping at the Queen Center Mall when I'm by riding this train. Really. Well, unfortunately for them, the Trump administration is not taking kindly or laying low on this. They're serious, real serious, because they're not clip, clip. What do I mean by clip, clip? Well, let's find out. This came from the New York Post. It says Trump administration demands MTA fork over New York City subway crime data or risk billions in federal funding. By Diana Glaborva and Matt Trotman. I'm sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, but it's not intentional. Unless you're a liberal, then yeah. Get on board with subway safety or hop off the gravy train. President Trump's transportation chief demands the MTA fork over data on plans to tackle subway crime and safety or else risk losing federal funding, a letter obtained by the New York Post shows. Wow. So the nation's largest transit agency needs to show its properly used federal fund dollars to ensure crime-free commute, says U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Let's see. The trend of violence, homelessness, and other threats to public safety are one of our nation's most pro-minded metro system is unacceptable, he said in a statement. After years of soft on crime policy, our department is stepping in to restore order. The oversight letter that Duffy sent Tuesday to the MTA honcho Jared Lieberman, Mr. Congested Pricing himself, gives the agency until March 31st to provide a swath of information on assaults on strap hangers, subway surfing, and fare evasion, and including surfing. We just had somebody got injured surfing on a train. Luckily, the person survived this time. Luckily, survived. Duffy argued that the number of high-profile incidents on the New York City transit system raises concern over whether the MTA has used federal funds to actually ensure the safety of passengers and workers. The union and the employees are saying no. They've been experiencing a lot of crime against them. And we know they've been lying about the numbers. The expectation is that New York City Transit Authority, well, actually, it's New York City Transit, but we're not going to say anything here or there, will address this matter promptly to ensure compliance and avoid further Federal Transit Administration enforcement actions up to and including redirecting or withholding funds, the letter warns. How much federal money that could be redirected or withheld from the MTA is unclear. This is not the time you want to F around and find out. Let's put it that way. The MTA officials anticipate needing upwards $14 billion from the federal government over the next 5 years to carry out an ambitious capital plan. The amount could change, however, as Congress decides every 5 years what that funding amount should be, and it's up again in 2026. The letter largely demands information such as crime in the subway system and fare evasion that is already publicly available. It also seeks information about funds from all sources that are budgeted towards improving strap hangers and MTA worker safety. Of key importance will be documentation of actions and funds that ensures effective security for passengers and workers on the New York City transit system, the letter states. Just for the record, it used to be New York City Transit Authority from 1953 until the 90s, and they cut the word authority out because they were getting tired of the alphabet soup lettering. It didn't make any sense, but they spent money just to cut out one name. But they still act like an authority. Transit crime has been persistent concern in New York City since the COVID-19 pandemic, and especially recently in light of a spat of sickening attacks, including the horrible arson in which a woman was burned to death on a Coney Island train, the F train at Stillwell Avenue, burned by an illegal alien who not only set her on fire, sits there watching, and then he fans the flames to add to it. But because the train does not carry fire extinguishers anymore, by the time they got one, it was too late to save the woman. The fears over the subway safety promote Mayor Eric Adams and Governor Kathy Hochul to take high-profile steps not to only combat crime, but to battle the perception that the transit system is growing unsafe. I mean, I experienced some problems on the subway. So to say if it's not really unsafe is an understatement. Hochul sent National Guard troops into the subway and most recently unveiled a plan to put NYPD cops on every overnight train. The effect shows some signs of success. Transit crime overall is down 27% this year compared to the same span in 2024, NYPD data show. You also got to remember the FBI was lying about the numbers too before the debate between Trump and Harris. And then a day afterwards or two, they changed it to the higher number. But ABC took advantage of it. So felony assaults, however, so far this year remains a whopping 56% higher compared to 2019 levels, data show. People traveling on the New York City transit system to reach their jobs, education, health care, and other critical services need to feel secure and travel in safe environment free of crime. As well, workers who operate the system need to be sure of safe operation environments to provide transportation services. Duffy letter states, the transit riders and workers of New York City deserve nothing less. The letter comes just days after Hochul met with met with Trump at the White House among weeks of high stakes bickering between the pair over congested pricing. See, they're trying to force people into the subway with the congested pricing, but people are resisting because the crime problem. Yeah. The spat erupted after Duffy sent another letter in February announcing he's pulling federal approval of the controversial Manhattan Toll program, promoting a lawsuit from the MTA. Transit Department officials later gave the MTA until March 21st to stop congested pricing, but Hochul and MTA honcho General Lieberman vowed to keep collecting tolls so long as the court case remains open. I know how to stop the cameras. Tell Con Ed to clip the power. Yeah. Oh, what happened here? We have a little... The power, yes. Something happened here. Lost the information here. Give me a second. Yeah. So Hochul has alternated between lambasting Trump and playing nice with the president in a spat of meetups during which they jawbone over the congested pricing and redeveloped Penn Station. The NTA is happy to discuss its efforts along with the NYPD to tackle crime and fare evasion, says John J. McCarthy, the agency's chief of policy and external relationship. It's good news that the numbers are moving in the right direction. Crime is down 40% compared to the same period in 2020, right before the pandemic. And so far in 2025, there have been fewer daily minor crimes in the transit system than any non pandemic year ever, he said. Moreover, the second half of last year, subway fare evasions down 25% after increased dramatically during COVID. Let me remind you, folks, when COVID was at its worst, the NTA suspended collecting fares on the buses. Not on the subway, but on the buses. And yeah, it's hard to recuperate when people keep thinking, "Oh, it's a free service." No, free service means that the taxpayer is going to pick it up, and you guys just hop on, and that's it. This is not Kansas City or some other city that has free transportation. These New York City Transit, need the revenue from the fares to continue operations, to pay salaries, to pay um, maintenance, healthcare, and all that stuff. Later on, pensions and so on. We know. But you remember they tried to cut jobs, and that wasn't very successful. Oh, they picked the worst possible jobs to cut. Conductors and the station agents. Yeah. How did that go? Not too great. I mean, you got a 4-car G train still running around because of they need it for auto service on the weekend. But meanwhile, during the weekday, you need a 6-car train, not a 4-car train, a 6-car train, and you're jamming 6-car people into a 4-car train. That makes no damn sense because somebody's trying to get a bonus out of this, which is ridiculous, which is bad enough. And no, they've been fudging the numbers. And the station agents, yeah, they got rid of them in 2010, a lot of them, and then they replaced them with these stupid machines. They did a survey on these things. It hasn't really worked out too well. Sometimes technology doesn't always work the way you think it's going to work. I mean, you had the R44s, which was the first 75-footer, and the first opto operation car got scrapped long before the R32s got scrapped. So you have a car from early 1971 get scrapped ahead of the cars that were built in 1964. Make it make sense because it don't. So this is how I can say so long for now. Don't forget your stop.